And in 5, 6, 7, 8, let's start a show. It's Monday night. It's time to go live with all of you on Mission Log Live. I'm John Champion.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson. We made it! 10 episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks, or LDS if you were like one of those cool people in the know. And we have been through life and death together, and it is time to unpack everything we learned, everything we saw, everything that made us laugh and cry and have all those big feelings. So click on the Zoom meeting link or use the one tap from your smartphone. Or you could call us real old-fashioned like at 669-900-6833 and make sure that you enter the meeting code and the password so you can chat with us live right here, right now.
Yes, right here. Don't argue with Ashley. Don't deny her call to call us and to interact. Herder, the show that relies on you, our Star Trek pals, to tell us, your Star Trek pals, what you thought of new Trek. So pick up the phone or use that Zoom meeting link. Earl will pick up and then he'll patch you through and we'll ask you what you thought about the season finale of Lower Decks. Like I'm about to ask you, Ashley, what did you think of the season finale of Lower Decks?
I mean, it was so amazing and so incredible. And I feel so privileged that we got to see it when we got to see it and we got to chat about it. This is my second go around chatting with John about it. And truly, I can't say enough nice things about the finale. I thought it was wonderful.
I thought it was the strongest episode of the season. In fact, I was thinking that I sort of refrained a little bit. A friend of mine online, he had posted a thing on Facebook saying, I watched the 5 episodes of Lower Decks and then I bailed. Should I finish it?
Sad day.
See, right? Yeah. And I didn't want to be argumentative about it, but I do want to go in and say, like, dude, just watch the remaining 5 because honestly, the last one is so strong. Yeah, and this guy is a big Star Trek fan, so...
Well, and then by that point, you'll have the complete picture and you could make a fully informed decision. And if he still doesn't like it, that's okay too. More for us.
There you go. Right. You spent literally 5 hours on it. That would be it. So, all right. So I tell you what, let's say hello to all the people who are hanging out in the chat. Good to see so many people joining us tonight. There's Alan, David just saying right off the bat, hello, wow, what a fan. So I definitely want to hear from you tonight, David. Give us a ring. There is Paul. There's Tom. There's Alan. There's other Paul, because of course there's Rhea. There's Chris. Chris gives a warning front. He says no Landry worshiping in this
That's good
thread.
Advice.
So that is very good advice. We'll put up the yellow warning tape, the caution tape if we have to. There's Rick. There's Amory. Amory says, I'm just recovering from Red Hour.
Aww.
So look, Amory, I'm with you. I'm sure that you'll be fine. There's Rebecca. Megan. There's Michael. There's Casey. Of course, Casey. And just saying, Landry is the coolest. Really now, Casey? Really? Yeah, he got talked to death by Kirk. So, and then chiming in right there with a coolie. So, and Chris Riker, nice jazz. He says county. I think he means countdown. Nice jazz countdown, John. I love jazz, and I'm so happy that we finally got to end an episode of Trek with some jazz. So there we go. And Paul says the hosts are here. Yes, we are. Here we are for you, Paul. There's Cosmo saying, I will feed you Armus. So many references, so much fun in this episode. Can't wait to talk to you all about it tonight. Before we do that, though, there is so much happening that I want to bring all of you to its attention. Now, Ashley, you mentioned that this is the second time we've been able to talk about the finale. What, pray tell, was the first time?
The first time was back in the past because time travel shenanigans. You know, this is Star Trek. This is genre. That's what happens.
Yes.
So sometime in the past, we actually got together with sweet other co-host Norman to chat with Mike McMahon, the showrunner, the creator, the genius behind Lower Decks. And that is on the Mission Log feed as a Mission Log supplemental. It was so much fun. There was so much swearing. It was such a good time.
Yes. Look, I hate to be too crassly self-promotional here, but look, it's our show. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Please go to that interview that we did with Mike. And if you're feeling up to it, go join our Patreon, because I don't know if you noticed, I actually cut out a half an hour of that interview to get a little over an hour audio podcast out. But there's a full other half hour in the video feed that I posted at Patreon, just because he had so much to say. He was awesome. Please go listen to that. It is so much fun. He's awesome.
So funny too. So funny.
Yeah. And he knows his stuff. So, yeah, please into that. Also, some other news happening outside of Mission Log. How about that Kate Mulgrew coming back to play Janeway?
So great. So exciting.
Yes.
I'm really interested in Prodigy. I'm always interested in what is happening in like a YA, all ages friendly space, which is why all the comics are YA. So I've been very intrigued by that show for a long time, but having her back is going to be so cool. Even if she's just like the admiral or the instructor who shows up once every 4 or 5, that's so cool. Janeway is such an important character in the ethos of Star Trek. And it's just really, also Kate Mulgrew is like just coming off of Orange is the New Black, that she's having a real moment right now. So it's just like, it's such a good choice for so many reasons. I'm so excited.
Oh, so happy about that. And then next week, I mean, not even a break in between, because of course, Disco Season 3 starts in a couple of days, and then we'll be back with Mission Log Live next Monday night to kick off our coverage of Discovery Season 3. And actually, this is a very bittersweet moment. We have had so much fun talking Lower Decks with you, but this is part of the fun of Mission Log Live, is breaking up that hosting thing and guest co-host, and you have been amazing. We say goodbye to you now, tonight, but then we welcome, starting next week, Holly Ames will be our guest co-host for the run of Discovery. And I think everybody watching this show or listening, you're familiar with Holly. She, of course, was the archivist at CBS. She knows her Trek. And she has been a guest co-host on this before. So very happy about that. But look, we were just talking before the show. You're coming back, all right? I mean, this is just a done thing.
John. I'll be back anytime.
Okay. All right.
We're slowly assembling a full crew of guest co-hosts.
Yes, we are. Yes. So thank you again for everything that you've done. And then everybody join us next week when we kick off Season 3 of Disco. Hey, I am so excited. We have so many callers lined up. So we're going to blast through our poll and then the recap. Ashley, catch us up on, I tell you what, I'll do last one because I wasn't here. Last week, we asked you, do Lower Decks episodes succeed as stories and connect with the audience because your first choice, they stand on their own, or they rely on nostalgia. Very pleased to see that about 2/3 of you, 6.5%, said they stand on their own. And I think, look, there are many moments that rely on nostalgia, but overall, I would say that this show has done a great job of really carving out its own identity. So very pleased to see that. And then how about this week?
So this week we got everybody's reactions to the finale of Lower Deck. It was Lower Decks LDS. It was very straightforward. Did you love it, could take it or leave it, or hated it? And a whopping, this is like our most lopsided poll, but I have to say I'm pleased by it. Whopping 90% said that they loved it, with 5% saying they did not love it and 5% saying they could take it or leave it. And I think on balance, that is a really, really good outcome for the show. And
I think so.
It's lovely to talk about something that you're enthused about.
Right, exactly. All right. So yes, I will not waste any more time, and I will blast through this recap. And then, callers, I am excited to talk to you tonight. So tonight's episode, No Small Parts. We open on a familiar Beta 3, where 100 years ago, Captain Kirk, computer god to death, thus freeing its worshippers until they decided to go back to worshiping Landru. Captain Freeman is trying to undo what's been done again. That's the job of Second Contact and all those follow-up visits. Before the Cerritos can pull out of orbit, though, Mariner and Boimler are still on the surface doing some instigating of their own by handing out art supplies to the kids. Their conversation gets a little heated, though, when Boimler starts to tease her about knowing her secret, that Captain Freeman is her mom. All of this is picked up on the communicator and heard on the bridge, prompting a furious Freeman to beam them back up immediately. Let's check in with our old friend Captain Ramsey, now taking a little test drive on the newly christened USS Solvang. It'll be a short trip, though, as they are almost immediately fired upon by a powerful, unidentified alien vessel. They make short work of the Solvang as it tries to escape, ripping into the hull with giant robotic claws. When the Solvang tries to go to warp, the stress is too much and the ship explodes. Back on Cerritos in the captain's ready room, we're getting a taste of what's to come now that Mariner and Freeman's secret is out. Everyone is treating the ensign differently. Ransom stumbles through promotion suggestions. Billups just happens to have whipped up some hand pies. Others are vying for attention from the captain. It's basically all the reasons they wanted to keep it a secret in the first place. Mariner figures her only way out of here is to really buckle, be the very model of the perfect officer, and hopefully get transferred over to the Sacramento, which is precisely the promotion that Boimler is trying to get. Ransom is having a little with his choice. Promote the one whose record is spotless or the one who's the captain's daughter. While this is all happening, Rutherford has been playing with the new personality settings in his cybernetic implant, and Tendi has welcomed aboard a new recruit, an exocomp. The two get along just perfectly, and the little robot has even given itself a name, mathematically perfect, Peanut Hamper. These two are sure to get along great. That is, with the slight problem, Peanut Hamper is a small robot who's kind of clumsy and unable to pick up the simple objects it might need to work. Until they arrive at sickbay, though. It seems Peanut Hamper's skills and built-in tools make it a natural fit for the healing arts. Picking up on the Solvang's last interrupted distress call, the Cerritos warps into position only to find a debris field and no sign of life. They're all gone. But what is there? The same fearsome ship that tore apart Starfleet's newest. It engages with the Cerritos, and when they try to flee, this is the same combo of tractor beam and robotic claws. Freeman shuts down warp engines, assuming that was Ramsey's mistake. It works, although their port nacelle is torn away, at least alive for now. Who's doing this? Pakleds. They're getting stronger, picking up pieces of all sorts of alien technology, and now they've got the eyes. Well, no, they've got the Cerritos, only they're Pakleds, and they keep mistaking Starfleet ships. With the power, they are nigh unstoppable, which leads to the Cerritos' only recourse, a computer virus that might be able to infect and disable the wide variety of systems the Pakleds have slapped together. Rutherford knows he can cook up such a thing with Badgie. Only Badgie needs the safety protocols to be disabled, which Rutherford does. And one more thing, the virus will need to be activated manually on the Pakled ship. As Pakleds board the Cerritos, the crew fight them off as best they can, even if it means going hand to hand. The crew take a beating, and Freeman is injured. When they can retreat to sickbay, Rutherford shows up to say he's got a computer virus, but they'll need someone to deploy it. Peanut Hamper is the perfect candidate. Small, can survive the trip in space, and totally not interested. Yeah, the robot just bows out. That leaves Rutherford to volunteer himself. Shack sees to it that they make it to a shuttle bay and fly headlong into the Pakled vessel. While security chief takes on the Pakleds, Rutherford hooks himself up to the computer terminal to download the virus. Who should show up to slow things down? Badgie. He won't finish the job until he knows Rutherford dies with them. As things grow more tense, Shax leaps into action, rips the implant from Rutherford's head, and literally kicks him out on the shuttle, staying behind as the virus completes and the Pakled ship explodes. On the Cerritos, power comes back online and Mariner steers the ships to safety, or so think. More Pakleds show up from every angle and aim to finish what the first one couldn't accomplish. As the Cerritos faces grave danger, another Starfleet vessel shows to the distress call. It's the Titan. Captain Riker wastes no time in unleashing a phaser to disable the attacking ships, and he's full of cool repartee with Mariner. Apparently they know each other. He's her source for contraband, which Deanna Troi says they'll discuss later. The fight over, Cerritos back in space dock. It's time to put the pieces back together. Rutherford is recuperated, doesn't remember anything. Even his best friend, Tendi. but she looks forward to becoming friends all over again. Lieutenant Shax is gone, but time to mourn is quickly replaced with time for Captain Freeman to go through the grievances over everything Mariner has done, broken protocols, insubordination, keeping contraband, and she needs her. Someone who can think outside the box is necessary from time. With some time to kill, it's social in the Cerritos bar. Riker and Troy pop in. Rutherford is still learning about his recent adventures. Mariner and Boimler patch things up. He's so by the book, but they really do complement each other. Well, they did. Riker is about the outstanding crew of the Cerritos, and a promotion to the Titan comes Boimler's way, which infuriates Mariner. A volley of voice messages from her to Boimler on his new ship warned that he'd better be, because she will run into him again someday. The end.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun,
Maybe
dun.
in season 2.
Could be. We have a little bit of time to wait, but I can't wait to see what happens. Hey, this is exciting. Our first actually subbed into Mission Log Live not that long ago. It's Charlene. It's Char. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good
How's
to
it
see you all.
going?
How are you doing?
Yes, very good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you, considering, everything. Lower Decks has been the highlight of 2020 for sure.
Yes, no kidding. What is on your mind tonight? Of course, you got to sit in and to second episode of Lower with Norman, and that was a lot of fun listening to that. Thank you again for doing that. But
my pleasure.
what about this finale?
Oh, how about that finale, huh? Yeah,
Right.
so good. I mean, if I have to sum it up in 5 words or less, I guess you'd have to say they went there. Wow, because they did. I love that this show, these characters, they're not static. I think that's kind of a trap that a lot of animated shows fall into, and that is clearly not the case with these guys. They are going to get promoted. Harry Kim has got to be so jealous, right?
Yeah. Right.
I'd kind of love to see Garrett Wong do a cameo. What is Harry Kim doing, and how insanely jealous is he of Brad Boimler?
They have to be best friends, right?
I'd like to.
Maybe.
Yeah, right. I'd like to see Harry Kim, like, he has all the trappings of a better job. Like, he's at Starfleet headquarters, huge desk, the giant office, but he's Stenson. Just the title never changes. They just keep layering on more work for him, no matter what.
The cruelest joke in the universe. Poor Harry.
Yes.
Well, okay, I especially wanted to come in, one, because this is the last Lower Decks episode, and this show just clicked so hardcore for me that I want to talk about it all the time. This episode, though, gave me a revelation about the psychology of Beckett Mariner. So I kind of thought I would talk about that to kick off the show.
Please.
Okay, so she is a little bit Tom Paris. She's a little bit Kirk in Star Trek Beyond. So it occurred to me that she comes from a Starfleet admiral and a captain, meaning she probably grew up on a Starfleet ship and was probably expected to become a Starfleet officer herself. She was raised in the tradition. She saw a lot of things. That probably explains why she does have so many connections the way that she does, right? Growing up on a ship would do that. So with that and the fact that she had great aptitude for being a Starfleet officer, she goes in, she rises up really quickly, and then realizes, no, like Tom Paris, like kind of has a mistake and rejects all of it wholesale and says, I'm going to stay down here where it's still fun. I don't want that kind of responsibility. And so where it all kind of came full circle for me in terms of bringing Kirk into the mix is in Star Trek Beyond, he's a capable Starfleet officer. He's doing his thing, right? But he's a little bored. So he has to redefine his purpose. Well, I feel that Beckett Mariner's arc going forward is going to be her finding her purpose. What works for her? She's got to figure that out. Then she can go for the big promotion.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, we see so often Star Trek where, and particularly with Kirk, it's like you get up to that higher level because that's the expectation. It's just like, well, you climb ranks is what you do. But then he's miserable when he's an admiral, when he's not out there doing what he does best, which is commanding a starship. And he's not the first, presumably, and he wouldn't be the last. So I'm glad it's become a thread in this show. And that they're taking it, look, for as many jokes as there are in Lower Decks, I'm glad that they're taking the ideas seriously. You know, you've said it, Shar. This is an exploration of the psychology of this character, and we really went there when it was, I'm about to say chaotica, but that's Dicta. I want to make sure I got that right.
Yeah, the movie episode.
Could you imagine Chaotica and Vindicta together?
That's season 2's episode,
Do it!
right?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the next big holodeck adventure.
It's just them fighting each other for a whole episode instead of just for one scene at the end.
Oh, I would just be given glee.
But that's the thing that I love about this journey that Lower Decks has been on, is that, as I've said in the beginning, you know, comedy is subjective, so some of the jokes will work, some of them won't. Sure. But as long as there's addition to story and character underneath that, then they work. And it has been. And my, what a payoff that we got at the end of this one.
Oh, it's also heavens, yes.
It's so nice to see that Mariner and Boimler make sense together. That's something that we've been working towards since I feel like the middle of the season. And I thought the payoff of ending the series with her being that friend who doesn't know to stop leaving you voicemails was so sweet and such a nice, like, full, you know, and I'm assuming that Mike is probably working in the Dan Harmon tradition of the story circle. So it's really nice to see it closed in that way.
Right. Yes, indeed. Hey, Shar, there's well, more than a few people hanging on right now. Parting thoughts?
Yes.
Or, please.
Final thoughts. Going into season 2, I'm very excited, Mike McMahon, and I still have to listen to the interview, by the way. I cannot wait. That sounds just so much fun. It sounds like they're taking the momentum from the end of this season and just going straight into season 2 with it. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to. And man, I just love this show so much. That is all.
Yes, well said. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Pleasure to see you.
Pleasure to see you.
Meet you.
Sarcastic Vulcan salutes, everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers, Shar. Take care.
Cheers.
Hey, by the way, checking in real quick here before we go to our next call. Miles calls it out. He wants the Captain Proton versus Vindicta episode. Can't disagree with you there. Can't disagree with you there. Carlos says Moriarty versus Vindicta. I mean, all of this is coming up. This is great. And so many people who are happy to point out, and I cannot disagree with them at all, the Spock helmet is canon.
Yes, 10 out of 10. Anything with Spock is canon.
The Spock helmet is canon, and for that matter, the Titan. Very cool to see. Of course, the Titan has been on books before. I think it was in a Ships of the Line calendar, maybe, but now in filmed Star Trek, we have the Titan, and it looked cool.
Oh, it was
great.
Such a cool moment. Yeah. I had it on my laptop and I almost threw my laptop away. I was like, oh my God. And then the minute we saw the Titan, I was like, did they get Jonathan Frakes? Are we getting Riker? And I thought we would only get him. It was so lovely to have him and Marina together because they're like an all-time great Trek couple. And they still have such beautiful chemistry like we saw in Picard. But I thought we were only going to get them for that one scene. And the fact that they stuck around for the rest of the episode. And Deanna has such a great moment with Ransom at the end, saying everything that we all know is true. I thought that was really cool. But man, canonizing the Titan, that's like when Star Wars canonized Coruscant. You were like, oh yes, I've known this all along.
That's awesome. Well, hey, our next caller is ready to go, and that would be Matt, who is calling from the Cerritos. I'm so excited about that. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm calling from the best part of the Cerritos, the Warp Core.
Warp Core!
Yeah.
Are you going to do a Warp Core imitation? Do you have a favorite Warp Core sound?
Well, that's pretty good.
Something like that. Yeah.
Bravo.
Practice my throat singing next. I'm sorry if there's background noise. I'm actually in a Japanese hospital right now, so there's like chatter and beeps and stuff. I'm feeling good, but that's where I am.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Usually I'm on a train or in a
taking the time to
meeting.
call in.
But so I can't call him. But I listened to like half of the Mike McMahon interview so far. And one thing is the trailer for Lower Decks left me so cold. I was not looking forward to it. And now that I've seen the show, yeah, I love it. It's like, to me, the original series, TNG, and this are the rewatchable ones. You know, Picard, I've had trouble actually rewatching it as much as I liked it. Lower Decks, I've watched several of them several times. Again, I'm in the hospital. I'm sitting around watching Lower Decks after lights out now. So.
That's really interesting. You know, I thought what he said about the trouble of creating a trailer for the show made a lot of sense. Is like, if you show all the comedy scenes, then that's not entirely accurate. If you show all the dramatic scenes, the character stuff, that's not the right angle either. If you show them together, you just showed the show. So there's a real challenge in how to make that work.
And he called it. It didn't work so well. One thing I really loved here, I think near the beginning you asked, what would you like to see in the show? My answer actually was Pac-Man. So this episode obviously delivered in spades. It's just those are the aliens for the show, very clearly.
I can't believe that they managed to make the Pac-Lids one interesting or two threatening.
Yeah, they were quite threatening here. Yeah.
Another Enterprise.
Yeah, but yeah, God, I love that. And another Enterprise. Wonderful. Matt, anything else? I was going to ask you anything else. We are picking a bit of hospital noise behind you.
Yeah, okay. I'll try and get closer to a microphone. But I was wondering if Deus Ex Riker is now like a proper Star Trek trope where Riker swoops in and saves the day. You know, we got that in All Good Things. We got that just in Picard. We got that again. I mean, that's a thing now.
It's very true. I guess he's just that good. Is that really the answer to?
I guess he is that good. He's got the jazz and everything. It's great.
We'll just leave aside the fact that it's because he directs an episode of every single series. So he's around the office.
You're not supposed to. Yeah, not supposed to mention that part,
I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to see him on Strange New Worlds. It's going to be great.
Yes. Yeah, when he's going to save the day.
William Riker, senior.
I can make a sun loop, time jump. With my hospital notes, I'll leave you with one more just fun fact. Since we got some more Red Hour, I think Red Hour is fun time. But I worked with a guy a few years ago who had worked for Ben Stiller's production company. And just his production company is called Red Hour, named after this Red Hour. So I just thought that was a fun fact.
Right. Right. He is a huge Star Trek collector. I had heard that about him. And he did an episode of the new CBS Star Trek podcast that Tawny hosts with Paul F. Tompkins, and he talked about like how he's bought original props from Star Trek. Like he had an original Gorn head and all this. So he's hardcore. I want to hang out with that guy someday. He's his Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, I want a Gorn head. Okay, I've seen a whole bunch of people in your Hollywood Square, so and I have looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Matt, please stay safe and thank you so much for calling us. Care.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye now. Bye. Alan in the chat said, Alan is the one who creates our Riker memes for every episode of Mission Log, and they are hilarious and they're awesome. So he leaves us in here. Riker always saves the day. Fact or fiction?
Because,
of course.
There's
perfect, Alan. Perfect.
Sidebar. There's a Fact or Fiction 2020 calendar, and it says 13-month calendar. Figure out which one isn't real. And so one of the months is Freakstober, and every day is Jonathan's birthday, which I thought was so funny.
Oh God, that's amazing. Who did that? Because I must have that.
I will find the link and I will send it to you.
Okay, please do. What are the other things? It says, who played Peanut Hamper? And I thought, honestly, it was the voice of who does Tendi, that they were just doubling up on that, but I'm wrong there. Again, like IMDb, as Mike points out in the interview, very often fails at all of
If you Google who is the voice of Peanut Hamper, the name for the original voice actor for Linus Van Pelt is the first suggestion. And that man is fully dead and also not the voice of Peanut Hamper.
Not the voice of Peanut Hamper. Yeah. So, wait, let's go to our next. Yeah, please. Let's go to our next caller. Rhea has been standing by. Rhea, welcome to the show. How's it going?
It's going great. Good to see you guys. How you doing?
Hello. I like your shirt.
Likewise, doing okay.
Oh, thank you. An old dance shirt from many moons ago.
Nice. Hey, I was entertained that you were entertained by the Mike McMahon interview with the expletives that slipped by. Fortunately, we caught those republished. Got to keep that clean rating in Apple Podcasts. So, yeah.
And now that I've actually started to edit podcasts myself, I can't imagine how long that took to bleep all of those out. But
it is. It's a challenging process, but thank you. What's on your mind tonight?
Well,
what's on your mind tonight about Lower Decks?
Yeah, I've been wanting to call it. I've loved the series from episode 1. And I know some people, I don't know, haven't, whatever, but it clicked with me. I loved every episode. Just love the finale. I mean, there's so many things I could say, but one thing about bringing in the Titan, the whole season was so well done. They'd mentioned the Titan 3 or 4 times during the season. So at the beginning of the finale, they mentioned, the Titans nearby, and Captain Freeman's like, no, we'll take it. So you don't, it's not like it's Chekhov's gun there. And then all of a sudden when the Titan comes swooping in, you're like,
Very awesome. Yeah. By the way, Earl has come through for us, and he found that the voice of Peanut Hamper is Keither Donahue, Kether, Keither Donahue, who has some, I hate to say some credits that I've not seen. She was in the movie Pitch Perfect, has a lot of voice credit, and very pleased to see was in a show called Champions. Nice. So I think, I'm honor bound to see that. So clearly. So good on Peanut. So what else, Rhea? In addition to, of course, the long-awaited Titan, which was cool. I don't know if Eagle Boss has done one yet, but now I want one.
And Shax. I loved Shax, and my throat was sore from screaming Shax when he died. But man, to go down the way he did, he could have been a Klingon. I mean, he died with honor. But,
I was really so crushed when he passed on to the prophets.
Yes.
But now we have to have an action figure.
Yes. And for season 2, I'm hoping that we'll see Shax in the Land of the Prophets with a certain other former emissary or something. You never know.
I would pass away.
They've kind of dipped into a little bit of everything from all the series, so we need to see some prophets and some Cisco. Maybe they'd be singing jazz together. Angry jazz. Angry jazz.
Preach!
You know what? I was shocked when they killed the entire crew of the Solvang. Was shocked that then we had another death with Shax. And of course, by the way, everybody listening to this show, they know that this is all spoilers all the time. Okay, good. We've reiterated that.
The one character death was spoiled for everyone.
I know, right. But the thing that I was really pleased about is that there's this perception that a cartoon, and particularly a comedy cartoon, it's for kids. The events that take place there, we don't really take them seriously because they're just drawings on a screen, right? But not only, especially with Shax, this is a character that we know and love in the series, but as a cartoon and as a comedy, they didn't double back on that. They didn't say like, oh, well, here's a death, but we're going to fix that. Or here's a death, but you didn't see this other thing to conveniently contrive to bring them back to life. They went there, they completely bought into it. they had the conviction to stick with the story that they were telling. So when we were talking to Mike, and it bears repeating here to say, the first time that I watched this episode, I was totally taken in by the drama. I just followed and I was totally sold on the story and what was happening with the characters. Went back for the comedy. And they've done a really good job with comedy so far anyway, but this one really had genuinely earned moments, that really made it stick out for me. Yeah.
For sure.
By the way, thank you to
sure.
the
I mean,
people
I
who
was
sent me
upset when Shaq died.
Yeah, how could you not be? Because he's cool as hell.
Baby bear. I love bringing that back from the second episode, I think.
Yeah.
Any speculation on who should then take his place as chief of security, or just new character?
I've heard it thrown about that they should bring in a certain permanent ensign, Harry Kim.
There you go.
That might be a good
like
spot for Rutherford, to be honest, because he might be looking for something different. He had a real aptitude for it, as we saw. Because we can't give it to Mariner, right? That's too obvious and too easy.
Yeah.
Right. And I really,
she might be a little too much of a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
We're always on the warp, but sorry, I think I'm on a little bit of a delay here hearing you guys, but I really identified with Mariner from the first episode with not wanting to get promoted and enjoying like the minimal responsibilities of the lower deck. That's another thing I really appreciated in season 1. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every single starship captain except for the Tellarite, I think they were all female. Well, and of course for Riker. But I thought that was pretty awesome. Even the incompetent nincompoop that got her whole ship blown up by the Packlets.
And hey, let's remember who actually is wearing the pair when Riker is on the. Okay, so he might have the title, but come on,
Also,
what do they say? Behind every successful man is a. I'm so sorry. I keep interrupting you, but I think I'm on some kind of delay. But they say behind every successful man is a very surprised woman.
I like that.
No. By the way, a suggestion from Earl here as far as replacing the chief of state. He says, let's transplant Worf into yet another series. So
I'm here for
there is
it.
always that option.
I bet Michael Dorn is here for it.
Heck yeah.
I bet he is.
Alexander.
And thank you.
Oh,
God. Oh, poor Alexander. Thank you to Ashley and to anybody else in the room here who has sent me the link for the Eagle Moss Titan. And I feel like such a dummy. I've only done about 100 ads for Eagle Moss, and they change every few weeks or few months. Of course, we did the Titan ad, and there it is in the beautiful turnaround day. So, yes, now I need one. Now I got one. So. Awesome. Hey, Rhea, any parting thoughts here before we take our next caller?
No, there's so much I could say. Loved season 1. I want to hug Mike McMahon, and even more so now that I've heard the interview. So thank you guys for that. And great to see you guys' faces. Ashley, you've been wonderful. I love your giggle. It's so cute. And we'll see you guys next time.
Take care, Rhea. Till next time. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Yes. All right. So next up in the queue here, we've got Josh joining us. It's been a while since I've seen you, Josh. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Good to be here. Good to see you guys. I had to jump in for the season finale.
Absolutely. Wait, what shirt are you wearing? Wearing a Cerritos shirt?
The USS Cerritos general purpose garment from the T-shirt club, which was one of the best financial decisions I've ever made by the whole.
Forget about buying Apple stock 20 years ago. No, this was the decision. Yes. By the way, did you guys all see that John Van Sitters posted a close-up on Twitter of the section from the latest in the T-shirt club that has the Spock helmet on it. So it's the Delta and it has objects, all the contraband, but then he zoomed in on the Spock helmet. I love that.
Yeah, it's canon now, for sure.
Absolutely.
That was my only wish. I just wish that Billups put the helmet on when they were all getting ready for battle. We needed to see it functioning. the spinner, like it would have been great.
With the spinner. Yes.
Yeah, just go and
What?
Well, we gotta tease something for season 2, so.
Exactly.
There you go,
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah.
It exists. It exists. It's there on board. So why wouldn't somebody else get it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Josh, what's on your mind tonight about the show?
I mean, it was just such a triumphant season 1. I thought they just knocked it out of the park with the finale, to reiterate what I think you guys were talking earlier about some of the stakes, to just, people died, the poor, the Solvang. I loved the poor crew, the Solvang,
R.I.P. the Solvang. Also, Solvang is a really nice city, so I thought Mike did them real dirty.
It is. For those in our audience who don't know about Seoul, which is right here in Southern California, it is a lovely little town with like a Yiddish theme to it. Mm-hmm. Great food, great pancakes, and it's just a nice little tourist town. And one day I'll tell the story about how I got evacuated from Solvang on my birthday. So,
Nice.
Yeah, that was a weird moment. But yeah, Solvay, and I love those moments. We have very few of them, but I love those moments on the ship with Captain Ramsey futzing with the little plastic sheet over the command buttons. I'm that guy. If I buy a new like a stereo receiver or something, I leave it. I want it to be pristine.
No, take it off. Take it off. You guys are crazy.
Shoes off.
You're one of those?
I'm that person who's like, it all comes. I take all the toys out of the packages. All the action figures behind me are out of the box.
We can't hang out at each other's houses then, because that would just be total polar opposites. Be a mess.
You would find terrible. The one thing in my house that's like in its original package. You'd be like, really, Ashley? This is what you got?
Take this out now. Yeah.
Toys are meant to be played with. Take them out.
Yes, John.
Okay.
Yes.
Even my 1974 Amigos? Come on.
Unless the package is really nice, then it can stay in the package.
Okay.
Yeah, but otherwise, I'm with you. Rip them out of the package, put them on the bookshelf. They're there for enjoyment.
High five.
Did you guys take a look in the Pac-Led ship? Which pieces were technology from other species? Definitely some Romulan stuff in there. I could tell that quite easily. Not sure what else. Maybe some Borg
Someone
tech
on
in there.
Twitter, and I should have saved it, has a graphic where they're like, this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this.
Oh,
so someone has
cool.
like Reddit has already hacked it, right? They did it the day of the premiere, I'm sure.
Of course.
Nice.
Yeah. What else, Josh? Anything else you want to point out?
No, it was great. On the note of the ship, just that it's just the nose of the ship. It's just a little original Pac-Led ship from season of TNG, and then they just built around that. Right. I mean, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a good episode, a great season. I'm very interested to see how they, what happens. Boimler's moved on, the promotion. What happens? Like, is Riker now kind of part of the show for a while? That's awesome. I mean, so much happened in the episode.
Gotta wonder that.
Yeah. I mean, the death of Shax. I mean, it had pathos and just because it's a comedy doesn't mean that they're not playing for reals, So, and I just think it's great to see it, and it just really, I just felt like they just did such a good job of really blending, new modern television elements with the sort of 90s, TNG, DS9, Voyager aesthetic, and gave us something great new, it's just has been so good.
Excellent, man. Well, thanks for that. See you again tonight, Josh. Take care. Appreciate you calling in. We're going to move on to another caller, all right?
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Take care.
Trek on. talk to you
right.
guys during Discovery.
Yes, you will. All right. Live long and prosper, man. Take care. And calling back this week, love to see him, love to get your comments on the show. It's the Vice Admiral from Barfleet.
Wouldn't be an episode without the Vice
No.
John, Ashley, how you doing?
Hey.
Excellent. How you
Staying
doing
safe,
tonight?
right?
Yeah, it is best possibly can, for sure. And I hope yourself, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
So what a
Good.
finale.
What's
huh?
on your mind tonight? Yeah. So, what did you think? Yeah.
Well, we now know that the California class has a yacht, captain's yacht, which we'll eventually see, I'm sure.
Very good. Yes.
It's got to be called the Los Angeles, right? Or the Malibu or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's got to be something exactly like that.
Yeah.
What was I going to... I was going to, but we have so many people still behind me. I'll just do this later for both of you. But I was going to talk, after listening to the interview with Mike, I thought, I have some very interesting anecdotes I could tell you both about, let's say, drinking scotch all night with Dominic Keating at a party. Or
see, that seems so out of character for him. So I don't know if I would believe that. Gosh. Yeah, that's tough. Hey, this is interesting. Rick says in the chat here, who gets the Emmy for Best Animated Series next year? Season 1 of Lower Decks or Season 4 of Rick and Morty? Discuss. Any strong feelings there from either of you?
Oh, I would definitely say it's got to be Lower Decks, but that's my bias in loving Trek.
I don't think I expected those deaths either at the way they came up. That was powerful and unexpected.
Trek is also due for an Emmy. It's been a little bit since we had a big win, and a lot of the '90s stuff was nominated a lot, didn't win as much. So I just want it because Rick and Morty's had it won everything. So
right, sure,
give it to Lower Decks.
Sure. And I would like it to be about something other than, visual effects or makeup too, right?
Right, yeah, which of course are wonderful and incredible, but
still.
I mean, I think Rick and Morty is a brilliant show. I love it. I think it's so smart and full. There was something about the totality of the season, though. And believe me, I like it when Rick and Morty gets into morals, meanings, messages, and existential questions. I think that's a hallmark of that show. This, though, and particularly because of this finale, I feel like we're just all going to be full of tonight. Because of the way they wrapped up this season, it really took us on this character journey, and it really landed the drama so well, while still being true to its comedic roots. So if I were on that nominating committee, absolutely, I'm right there with it too.
Yeah, and the episode
by the way, I love
everything up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. I love this suggestion. Speaking of the yacht, Dominic in the chat, not Dominic Keating, by the way. Dominic says the captain's yacht rock. Boom.
Oh no.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Look. If we can end an episode with jazz, we can end another episode with Michael McDonald. Okay.
Michael McDonald is an icon, so that's fair.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah. So excellent. What else, Vice Admiral?
Yeah. Well, we end with Boimler being on the Titan. So that's...
Bets on how long that lasts for?
I gotta wonder.
I give it a half an episode. Mike, I know you're listening.
You do.
I give it half an episode.
You got to wonder, though, is it going to be him coming back to being an ensign, coming back to being a lieutenant, or coming back because he really meant what he said and didn't want to lose her, but took the promotion anyway because it was from Riker?
Mm-hmm. We also don't know if there will be a time jump, right? Because if the show picks up 20 seconds after the finale, that's one thing. If it takes place 6 months, a year, 2 years later, that's a whole other kettle of space fish.
This is true.
Right. Yeah. So what's nice, though, is that either way, this it sticks true to the integrity of the show, where they're saying, okay, the character choices have meaning, the character motivations are genuine. So even though we're in this, comedic fantasy world here, those things that happen actually have meaning. So whether it's Boimler realizing that he's the fish out of water on the Titan, or he's got some loyalty to his friends back on the coast, I think those things will play true, however it is they decide to explore it. And the other great thing is that with the freedom and flexibility of animation, where you're not having to like, oh gosh, we have to build another set. Like, no, you can explore that, and you can have the Titan on several episodes. You can go off and do something else entirely different before you bring him back. There are many, many ways to crack that story that aren't on the traditional way that you would crack that story in a live action series.
Exactly.
Vice Admiral, anything else tonight before we jump over to Chris?
Oh no, I'll get out of the way. There's more behind me, and they should all get their chance if they can. So you guys have a great
Excellent.
night. And
Stay safe.
You too, both of you. Take care.
Yes, take care. All right, and not to be outdone here, calling in from the lower decks is Chris.
In uniform, no less.
In uniform. You look...
I had to break it out for the finale. I've had it since week 8 or 9, but I was saving it for this very special occasion. I'm very glad it does casual mode, which was a big thing for me, is that if I got a lower decks uniform, I had to be able to rock it in casual mode, and we can. So we're here. We're excited about the finale. Oh, so good.
That is so cool.
Did we pick medical for a reason?
I picked generic science because that's always what I sort of default to, is the science stuff, because that's who I am in real life. Also because I really like the white boots. I'm like, that's a strong aesthetic choice, and I vibe with it.
There you go.
But mainly that is I am a science person in real life.
Cool. By the way, are the sleeves up? Because you are in casual mode.
Sleeves are up.
Heck
we are in full casual mode tonight.
Beckett would be so proud.
What's on your mind tonight about the show?
Oh my! It was so good. I got my beer here, pouring one out for Shax, pouring one out for the Solvang. I have family from Lompoc, so I feel that pain. No, I really loved it. I'll try and be quick here. We're going to talk about the very exciting thing of narrative structure tonight. Act 4 is you get your big Titan reveal, which is wonderful, and the character designs on Frakes and Marina are wonderful, and that's all wonderful. But to get to Act 4, you have to sort of earn it. You have to have Act 3, which is all of the sort of payoff for this whole season. We get all of the lower deckers working together. We get Shax's whole sort of sacrifice arc. So I really like that choice, because I know we've been talking a lot this season about, what's the line with the nostalgia and the callbacks. And I think this was a really good way to do it, was to be like, we'll give you sort of the big cherry on top, but not before we sort of say our piece about our characters first, which I think was really important and really well done.
That is superbly well said. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. By the way, as you were saying that, as you were referring back to Solvang, I have in my head that we need to do a mission log live, respectfully, socially distanced road trip to go get pancakes in Solvang. So someday I'm just putting that out there. Okay, you wear the jacket because you have to. So yeah, we'll do that. We got time. We'll figure it out.
We'll do it October 2021. It's a date, guys.
There you go. And by the way, Rick, he comments here, is like narrative structure party time. Yes, you're absolutely right, Rick, vis-a-vis Chris's. Anything else? Any other insights or thoughts or observations? I hate to rush it, but, we do have a few more callers. Want to get in as many as we can tonight.
Yeah, no, just really loved it. I don't know if this was intentional or not. I got strong from that whole Act 3. I got strong Endgame, Infinity War team-up vibes, and also, more specifically, when Shax just fireman carries Rutherford, that's very strong. What is it? Return of the King. I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. That is immediately where my mind went.
Lord of the Rings is only my favorite thing in the entire world next to Star Trek. So bless you for mentioning them both.
Nice. Well said. Excellent, man. Well, thank you so much, as always, for calling in. Love it. I love the extra F with the jacket set behind you. Well done, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. No, I just want to say before we go, it's been wonderful having Ashley here. You're a wonderful addition to the Mission Log family.
Oh,
I look forward to speaking more of you. Okay, that's it. All right. I'll let everybody else go now.
Here, ditto to that. Nicely said. Cool. Oh, and this. Oh, well. Now you'll be pleased, Ashley. Now we have just plain simple Brian calling in. He's just plain simple Brian.
He looks like he is
nothing else.
climbing the mountain.
Why is he climbing
Captain
the
Kirk
mountain?
is climbing the mountain. Why is he climbing the mountain?
Why is he climbing the mountain?
To hug the mountain? I'm sorry, John. Ashley, I didn't see you standing there. Hey.
What's up, Brian? What's going on?
Oh, just had to get in on the season finale. Say hi to Ashley. It's nice having you. Hope you come back real soon.
Anytime. It's so nice to
So
meet
awesome. Nice to see Shar drop in, and Rhea has been around for a while. It's been kind of an interesting night. Yeah, and I just finished listening to your Tim McMahon interview a little while ago too on Mission Log. I'm sorry, Mike McMahon. I was like,
Mike McMahon. Yeah. Anything stand out to you there? It was just like it was kind of a whirlwind. You
I kept going.
And he's wonderful. He has great insights.
I like that toward the end where he validated Norman's theory of everything. I can't remember his canon.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Well, when we were talking about trials and tribulations.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. He was.
That was.
Go ahead.
I see. I was so surprised when Norman brought that up on the show that there would be any sort of negative feedback to that, because I think his theory is very sound. He's just saying, like, this is the first time. That is factual. That is not an opinion. It is factual that is the first time that Star Trek visually referenced its own past, and really driven home by the idea that in the movies, they just, the TOS might as well not have existed. Sure, the characters were there, the storylines were there, but you don't just see a picture of young Kirk or young Spock or even young Khan when you get to the motion picture and Wrath of Khan and beyond. So Trials and Tribulations was doing a pretty, obviously they were playing with the technology, doing something really interesting and important there, but it does sort of send a signal to the audience, whether they wanted that or not. So I love that Mike picked up on that right away.
Yeah, and his theory, I guess, is on his show, he's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink into lower decks.
Right.
And I'm not quite sure how, I'm trying to still make it click in my head how this relates to, I guess, what you'd call dramatic Star Trek versus comedic Star Trek, which isn't to say there's no humor.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so utterly meta and self-referential. I mean, deep cuts like Zahn a couple of weeks ago. And I was kind of amused. I was kind of amused just now you're talking about, because usually you're kind of like, oh, canon. Then tonight you're all like, the Spock helmet's canon. And I'm like, you can't have it both ways, John.
I'll have it both ways, sir.
Oh, well, fine. Well, in my head, I can play it one of a couple of ways. It's like either this whole series takes place inside one of those subspace warp bubbles.
Pocket universe.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's informed by the greater Star Trek universe, but it doesn't escape out the other way, because you could be as goofy as you want in there, and it doesn't. The other thing is my theory is that this entire show is what Federation children wake up on Saturday mornings and watch.
I love
because
that.
To them, it is a show about the real world, the real world being Star Trek. And so they can replicate a bowl of cereal, sit down in front of the view screen, and, have a laugh for a half an hour. So assuming they have Saturday mornings. We don't
that
have
now
Saturday
lives
mornings,
in my head canon.
Yeah, there you go. So you can theories to heart, whichever one works best for you. So.
That's right. You take the Grant Morrison approach, where everything ever happened, and you keep the parts that you like the best.
Right.
Yes. Well, the thing that was so interesting to me is that moment where they're visiting Landrew, and then they come back to the Cerritos, and they're looking at the pad that has animated Kirk and Spock on it.
So
And to me, having covered TOS and then covered TAS with the intention that the animated series was the next season of Star Trek, it happened to look different. It happened to look like animation as opposed to look like live action, but they're all telling this same continuous story. Cool. So now Lower Decks has basically said, we're part of that too. And TAS is part of that too.
Because TAS was, it was, despite the fact it was animated, it was dramatic Trek. I mean, with
of course.
Occasional exceptions, just like the original series. And so I think that works fine. I think you can have an animated story that's now this show is starting to get a little more dramedy now because obviously we just had a pretty heavy episode. So now I'm kind of wondering, well, how does this fit in again? And so I think Mike's going to keep us on our toes. We just never know what's going to happen next week.
Truly.
That makes me so glad though, because I think if you were just solely relying on comedy from beginning to end, you're just going to be fighting for jokes, and then jokes get repetitive, and
another list
to anticipate
another
them.
list joke. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
John's
but with
favorite.
this we've got something to sink our teeth into. We've got, characters to root for. That's really what will make a series survive and thrive.
Right.
So I feel like they've really done it. Plain and simple, Brian, thank you again for calling in. Really appreciate it.
I had one other parting shot.
Please.
I know we're at the top of the hour, but I always wondered, if you're in the primary hull of Cerritos or any California class ship, how do you get to the secondary hull without your turbo lift going straight through one of the warp engines?
I think they teleport you.
I know, right?
I think it's just a transport. They just move back and forth. But that kind of struck me. When this week, when spoiler alert, the nacelle gets blown clear off the ship, I was like, this is structurally unsound. How this is going to work?
How many Jeffries tubes are running back and forth between these right now?
It's like, how many people were in turbo shafts when that happened? It's like,
See, I still think the same thing about Deep Space Nine. It's like if I live on this side of Deep Space Nine and look, there it is behind me, and I work on that side of Deep Space Nine.
You're always going to get your 10,000 steps. Always.
The commute's a bear,
can I just transport to work, please? Then you actually have an excuse for being late. Yeah. Brian, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'll see you in Solvang, if not
we'll
at
see you next time. Okay.
Cantors or Solvang, you pick.
Heck yeah.
Done. Sold. It's
a little bit closer.
Take care, buddy.
Right. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one. And then we've got David. Hey, we're going to run just a little bit late tonight, but I think are we all at, Ashley? Do you have to run away real quick?
No,
okay.
I'm good.
David joining us.
Hey, guys.
David joining us from the Bridge of Discovery.
Yep. I'm here from the Bridge of Discovery. That's right. Well, hey, I'm glad you guys mentioned Solvang. I'm so there. I mean, I've really not done any vacation.
What have we started?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really miss the place. So when you organize it, I'll go for sure.
Heck yeah.
Definitely.
Good.
All right. Just real quick. I mean, I'm not much of an animation guy. I didn't have a lot of expectations going into the show, but I'm really taken aback, and I really like it a lot more than I thought I would. This is a really great show. I think what they're doing with it is good. It's actually the first pure comedy that I've seen, and like the previous caller said, they're taking it into drama, so I think that's great. But I guess what I really want to know is from both of you, obviously we're going to get a season 2, and we don't really know what we're going to get. What do you want to see in that? What do the two of you kind of want to see in the season 2 Lotus?
I want Tendi and Rutherford to kiss. It's all I want from this show, and they're not going to give it to me.
Yes. I think that's wonderful.
What I really hope for is sustained character growth, because that is something that can be tough to balance in comedy and in animation, respectively. So if we have Boimler take the step forward, he's a lieutenant now. I'm Canadian, so I always have to think about the pronunciation of that word. I'm sorry. We say lieutenant where I come from. So I would rather see an interesting way to reincorporate him onto the crew as opposed to just stepping him back to being an ensign. I hope that all the character growth that we've seen carries going forward, because to me, that is the most interesting stuff. And the fact that it's dressed up as Trek is all the best for me. So if we can kill characters and have characters grow in season 1, I hope that we can, it's not like I need 2 promotions and 2 deaths at the end of season 2, but I hope that we can sustain that kind of momentum because we stand character growth. That's why Worf is one of the greatest characters in Star Trek, because he went from basically being an accessory to one of the most complex, dynamic characters who suffered these horrible losses, was a bad father, then became a great husband. And so that's all that I need for season 2. I mean, give me more Titan references, of course, but I'm sure John has a smarter answer than I do.
No, actually, I'm just reading the comments. Alan says Pac-led war. And Chris says, Pac-leds invade IKEA, which I think are both really solid answers to what you're saying. No, look, I will. I'll piggyback on what you're saying, because there's not a specific plot thread or a specific moment that I want to have happen in season 2. All I want overall is we feel like we've gotten now in 10 episodes of Lower Decks. The things that frustrated me early on were my perception of the writers sort of just doing like, we're doing Star Trek, damn it, we're fitting references in here. But then what I got paid off with at the end was this beautiful growth of characters, and what I would say is just the confidence to go ahead and tell a Star Trek story. And they're doing it out. They're allowing Rutherford to explore and jobs on board. And this is crewmates saying, hey, this isn't for you. Great. Go do this other thing and be fantastic at that. Like that just so speaks to me about this beautiful star future of people holding each other up, forming real bonds and friendships and supporting each other. Time after time in this series, we see, like I was saying before, genuine motivations behind characters, even if the situations are funny, even if the outcomes are funny, what's driving that is genuine. And it makes us want to go along with these characters on that journey. So as long as they do that, as long as they are confident about that and don't feel like they have to just rely on joke after joke, I'm there. I'm sold. I will watch 6 seasons of this show happily. So make that happen, guys.
There you go.
6 more seasons of Lower Decks.
My thought. This is such a character-driven show now with these 4 characters, and then you have the bridge crew, which is sort of like the sub, the guest stars or whatever.
Supporting characters, yeah.
Supporting characters, yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to season 2 just to see how those interactions work out between them. It's just so strange to have Boimler on the Titan. But that brings up another possibility with the Titan. I mean, I don't know if anybody read the books, or the books are not going to necessarily be canon, but there's a couple of characters on the Titan that are regular stars from other shows. So apparently Tuvok's on the Titan and Wesley Crusher's on the Titan.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I mean, that's from the books.
Well, that has to happen.
I mean, I haven't read the books.
Yeah.
I mean, and Will Beaton does do a ton of VO, so he would be such a perfect, and he's obviously doing after shows with CBS. Like he would be I think he'd be the easiest addition, but please bring Tuvok. I love him so much. Tim Russ is so handsome.
Yes. He's great. He's so awesome. David, thank you. Excellent question. Really appreciate it. We're going to round it out tonight with one last call, and we will talk to you again soon, I hope, starting with Disco next week. Take care of yourself. And I'm so pleased with this. So rounding out the show tonight, Aaron joins us, and he joins us with that frame grab of animated Kirk and Spock on the pad. What's up tonight,
I had to do it. I got the message from Rich Handley, who does the Star Trek comic books, and was saying, it's like, you must feel like the most vindicated fan in all of Star Trek fandom. This has been brought in, I spent forever trying to convince people, there was this other show in Star Trek, a whole other series that people just don't pay attention to. So that was really great. Right. But it literally was like the smallest thing. We talked for an hour and 45 minutes on Infinite Trek and did not get through everything we wanted to talk about. So it's so good.
Truly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you'll indulge me for just a second, I go down to my my notes list here because there was something really important. Ashley and I, we take a lot of notes as we're watching. We never get to them in this show because you all have such great comments and questions. But the one note that I have to put out there to the universe is First Contact Day salmon. That has to become a thing. That I promise you, next First Contact Day, I will bake a whole salmon and I will socially distantly,
hopefully we can all get
respectfully
together.
eat it in front of all of you. Yes. So,
we'll have our little salmons online and
yes.
No, that is amazing.
Also, half of my notes are swears because I write them live. So I take the swears out when we talk.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I effing love this. Yeah. That's great.
I'm wearing my Shax pin because that was my reaction was an F word when that happened too.
Yeah.
So
those pins are great. They're so cute.
Aren't they great?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had set my shirt up to have like all of the pins, and then Jerry O'Connell did it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to copy that, so I just took them all off.
Great minds, Aaron. Great minds.
Yeah. One thing I think to replace Shax, one of the ideas that I had was possibly Jet, because in the previous episode on the holodeck, they had him kind of set up as like he tackled Boimler and it's like great going and good. Basically the holographic captain was just basically giving him all this praise. So possibility temporarily,
that's a good point.
Least, if nothing else. So
yeah. Very cool.
But
I like that.
You're talking about like what show would you want to see and using this image. It would be great to do a Trials and Tribulations type episode with the animated series and Lower Decks. Just
Lower Decks.
My God. Can you imagine how much that would cost?
Oh, sure. To get the voice.
But it's perfect because you've got, you've already said in this that Riker watching Enterprise and the holodeck.
Yeah.
So they can jump back. Oh my God, we could have animated version NX-01. Why not? Why not?
Would be interesting.
Get Bakula in here to do a voice.
Oh, yes.
So that would be awesome.
Yeah. So I love the fact that when they think back to Spock and Kirk, that it looks like the animated series Spock and Kirk.
Yes.
Or at least in this
Which
universe.
then, okay, that raises an interesting question then. So is there a live action version of Lower Decks, of the Cerritos, of that crew somewhere out there existing in parallel to this?
Well, if the cosplayers on Instagram are to be believed, there's definitely some attendees out there in live action.
There definitely are. Yes.
No, I would say yes. I think that there is. Yeah. I was just so surprised with this whole series, and thank you for allowing me to be the last person on the show, that it felt like it was going to be an amuse-bouche to Deep Space or to Discovery, and to be like, okay, it's like short treks along the way or whatever. And it just turned to be like, no, this more of this, please. I want this show all the time. It is. Yeah. And it's hard to believe it's a 22-minute, 25-minute show.
Yeah.
Because there's an hour and a half worth of show packed into it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like anything is rushed either.
It's why it's so fast and loud.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. When I went back to do the recap for this week's show, I was shocked that a big moment of the Titan coming in and saving the day happens relatively early past the halfway point, because I forgot it was like, oh, there are all these other good sort of epilogue moments at the end with Troy, with Riker. Like, of course, and thank goodness.
Yeah, I went to go take screenshots, and I'm like, wait, where is it?
It feels like it's about 2/3 of the way through the episode, or 3/4 of the way through the episode, and it's actually way earlier than that.
Yeah, because you think like, oh, okay, they saved the day and we're done. But no, there's this. Oh, and I love, and Aaron, I know that you'll love the moment in Space Dock where you have the engineers saying like, well, we could put, what was it, flashy, sparkly rainbow
sparkly panels. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
No, I don't want it to come out all sovereign looking. Yeah, that was great.
So funny.
I hate when ships get fixed and they come out all sovereign looking. Yeah.
Such a specific smart joke.
Yeah.
Yes,
no, that was great. There's just so much. It's just hard to compress what the feelings about this episode into like one, little blurb, but it's great.
Truly. Yeah. Excellent. Well, guys, I think that really says it.
Well, one last thing.
Last comments here? Yeah.
Yes. Changelings aren't real. The Dominion War didn't happen.
How dare you?
How dare you? Go away.
Wolf,
Go away.
Wolf 359 is an inside job. Technically correct.
Yeah.
Technically correct.
Card.
Yeah. I do actually want a shirt that says the Dominion War never happened. I think that's there's so many
Changelings
great
aren't real.
Yeah, so funny.
Oh. God, that was hilarious. And again,
had to get that in there somehow.
Animation to be able to have that guy in there. Perfect timing. Well done, Aaron. I think that is exactly the way to end the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Ashley, again, thank you so much. This has been such a blast every time we get to do this. And I look forward to more.
So cool. I said this at the beginning, it's been so cool for me as someone who started out like listening to Mission Log in the early days when I was making my web series and then bullying John into being on my show. So like, this has truly been a dream. It's given me something to look forward to, which I can't tell you how much is a gift during the pandemic. I can't wait to get back into the observer's seat when you guys move into disco. But thank you so much for having me, for you and Norman and Earl and everyone else who was so gracious. It's truly been a delight for me to be here.
I'm so just thrilled to hear that because you're a welcome addition and I can't wait to do more with you.
And you're screwed now because I'm never
Until then, that's a good problem to have, okay? Mission Log is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. Executive producer Rod Roddenberry. Technical production on Mission Log Live by the incomparable Earl Green. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. If you would like to support Mission Log, direct us a look at patreon.com/Mission Log. Thanks to everyone who joined us live or later. And thank you again to our special guest co-host, Ashley Victoria Robinson. All of you, stay safe, stay healthy. We look forward to talking with you next week.